so today we're dealing with the moral law. Very important because we're going to learn as we go through this moral law that Yah is trying to set a precedence here, and it's very important that we understand what it is, because we went through the dietary law. We told you the importance of the Sabbath day. So we're going through the moral law now, and we're going to keep going down to the categories until we get till we cover them all, because they say there's 613, but I have some people on this class that have gone through them, and it is not that many. A lot of them, the Israelis have put in there and implemented in there that they were not the laws of the Most High. So we're going to go through these, and then we'll go through the list and check off the ones that are not real. Okay, so the moral law. We're going to deal with chapters, so when you don't see the book, we're going to be in the book of Leviticus. So we're in the 19th chapter of the book of Leviticus right now. We're going to go through the whole chapter. And if you have any questions, I'll stop. I'll open and say if there are any questions, and then you can let me know, and then we can go from there. We may finish this today. We may not. But I'm definitely going to go ahead and start. All right, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 1. It says, "And the Most High spake unto Moshe, saying," verse 2, "Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I, the Most High, your Elohim, am holy." So what I took from that is that we don't do what everybody else does, that we'll get to that, but we're going on down. But he says, you shall be like me, because I'm holy. So holiness is separating yourselves from the things that other people do and following the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. That's what holiness is. Because some of us come out of the church and they gave us their definition of what holiness was. So I want to follow that while we're going through this. Verse 3, it says, "Ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbath. I am the Most High, your Elohim." So what do you think it means when it says, fear every man his mother and his father?
Reverence.
Exactly.
Respect.
Respect, absolutely. It doesn't mean you have to like them.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to like their actions or their ways, but you must respect them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I know a whole lot of people that are sick today because they don't understand the importance of what that means. I know some folks that cuss their mothers out.
Wow.
And I would advise you to stop. Cuss their fathers out. I would advise you to stop. Because the Most High he frowns on that.
Yes.
Watch. Doesn't mean they have to be perfect. Some people, my mama did this or my mama didn't do this. It doesn't matter. She's still the reason why you came into this earth. Without them, too, you wouldn't be here. And why am I saying that, Yaina? Because we have a whole lot of disrespectful children now.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole generation of them. And they don't understand you're shortening your life. Watch. Here we go. Watch. Verse 3, he says, "Turn ye not unto idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods, for I am the Most High, your Elohim. And if ye offer a sacrifice of peace offering unto the Most High, ye shall offer it at your own will. It shall be eaten the same day ye offer it, and on the morrow. And if aught remain unto the third day, it shall be burned in the fire. And if it be eaten at all on the third day, it is abominable. It shall not be accepted." So we're going to get into what those offerings are, because that's a part of the sacrificial law. When to offer it, what it is you offer. Like he said, once you offer it, you have to eat it. All right, watch, he says, "Therefore everyone that eateth it shall bear his iniquity, because he hath profaned the hollow thing of the Most High." Again, that's the part, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people. So the Most High has a system, and he wants you to follow his system to the letter. And why? Because we are his people. We are the ones that have been chosen to be his people. Watch. It says, now this is for, we covered this last week about the field because a lot of this is intertwined. So some of this stuff we'll go over again. You said, we just read this last week. Well, I don't like to leave any parts of the chapters out. I don't want anybody to say, oh, you just picked that out of there because no, I'm reading the whole thing so everybody understands. It says, and when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field, neither shalt thou gather the gleaning of thy harvest, and thou shalt not glean thy vineyards, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyards. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and the stranger. I am the Most High, your Elohim. Yeah. So we had our own welfare system. You know, we didn't have food stamps and all that kind of stuff. It was none of that. We got that. We experienced all that when we came into captivity in this country. But we had our own welfare system to make sure that nobody went hungry in Israel, in our land. Watch what he says. Verse 11, ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another. These are the moral laws, so you might want to write these down. He doesn't want us to steal or lie or deal falsely with one another. And ye shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy Elohim. I am the Most High. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. Some of us already in trouble when we think back on our life and how we used to live our lives. These are the things we have to repent for constantly. Because it wasn't nothing to go in the hood and get robbed. It was something that they just did. It was sport for some people. Just saying. I know nobody on this line ever did anything like that. He said, the wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. In other words, when they work for you, pay them. Give them their money. Yeah. This is how he wanted us to conduct ourselves in the land where we are from. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear thy Elohim. I am the Most High. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Nobody gets any special attention, special privileges. It's got to be fair across the board. That's in our land. And when we deal among ourselves. So can we start doing this now? Absolutely. Yeah. Some of this stuff we can start now doing. We don't have to be in the land to do some of these things. Watch. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shall thy stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Most High. So he said, don't bring no bad news. Don't start talking about people all over Israel. Gotcha. Stop gossiping. Yeah. You don't do that. Watch. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. This is something we really need to learn because it's a real bad relationship between the Messianic and the non-Messianic. And that's one thing I could say about this group is that we have learned how to get along. You don't have to believe like I believe, but we still family. The Most High said, thou shalt not hate thy brother in my heart. And I've heard some terrible things come out of some people's mouths. Terrible. Watch. Verse 18. We're in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Most High. I have a whole lot of people in my own family that's carrying grudges. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And they sanctified folks.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like, come on now, we got to forgive and we got to move forward. A whole lot of people.
And it's making us sick, too. You know, I got a couple of my family, they're really not forgiving, and they stay sick all the time.
All the time.
You need to let it go. Let it go.
Now, let it go and love. You got not only let it go, but love. Some people, I'll let it go, but you don't speak to the person. You know? You have to go to that person and say, I had a grudge against you, and I really was mad. And, you know, I held that grudge for a long time, and I really, you know, I'm sorry about that. It was my fault. I shouldn't have held that grudge. Somebody came to me and said that. I didn't even know the lady felt like that. I was like, wow. She said, Yaina, I had a grudge against you. I said, oh, Lord, what is I didn't even know she felt like that. I said, well, you know what? I'm glad that, you know, you have come to me that we can, you know, we finally got it under control, because I didn't even know.
Sometimes
I didn't know.
Spirit get in. I had one lady that used to come to me every Sunday in church. You know, they say before you go and we'll go up to the altar, you know, go if you have an ought against your brother or sister, blah, blah, blah. She would come to me every Sunday. I didn't even, you know this woman that well. But every Sunday, I'm like, oh, my goodness, here she come again. Now what? Now what? But sometimes that spirit get on them that they do not, you know, not like you. You have nothing to them.
Nothing, yo.
You know?
Sometimes it's something that you've not done. Some people have mental illness and they have issues, you know. But even with all of that, you have to love people and say, you know, I'm gonna pray for you, sis.
Yeah, it could be that you remind them of somebody.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That is. 19. He said, "Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed." The Most High does not want you to do that. Now, this one is going to really touch. He said, neither shall a garment mingled of linen and wool come upon thee. We're not even supposed to wear clothing that's mixed fabric. But because some of us are overweight and we got to have some stretchy stuff, we have to start losing weight so we can comply to this. We do.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
We can't keep using that. Well, we overweight. Well, we got to stop being overweight.
That's true.
Because all that can be fixed. We have to fix it so that we can wear our 100% cotton and 100% linen without spandex in it.
Right.
Because he doesn't want us to wear fabrics that's mingled.
Well, they say that the fabrics are poisoning to us anyway. They did it on purpose.
You think so? Well, the fabrics are poisoning how? What do you mean?
Well, they were saying that I read a lot, so they were saying that they're even putting stuff into the clothes that we're wearing.
Okay.
That's detriment. Yeah. So 100% cotton and stuff like that. I think it can just be washed out. It doesn't hold on to anything. I do. But that polyester one that they were adding stuff, the chemical.
Yeah. And then they said that the 100% cotton is hybrid, too. They're not really cotton. But like I said, where we are now, we have to do the best we can with what we got to work with. Yeah, because you can't walk around naked, so. No, you got to wear, something.
What about polyester and rayon and those type of things?
The polyester was poison. They was putting. Well, you can't mix it. Don't mix it with rayon. It can't be mixed.
Polyester is not a material. It's a made up thing, ain't it?
Right. Yeah. Okay, I see. There we go. Polyester is made up. It's a blend that they blended together and made a name for.
It's a plastic, actually, because if it burns, it turns to pure plastic.
It turns to pure what?
It's called polyester.
I can't hear it. It's too many people talking. Say that again, sis. You say if they burn it, it turns to what?
Liquid. It'll drip on you like liquid.
That is correct.
Yeah, you can't. When you iron it, it's like plastic. If you try to iron it, it'll burn up.
What do it shine, don't it?
Yes.
I thought that was like a 70s thing, though. Didn't they make a lot of clothes out of that back in the day?
Yeah, I used to sell polyester pants and stuff. Y'all don't know nothing about them psychedelic pants.
I don't see polyester. Well, I don't, but I'm sure they still got it out there somewhere. I don't know.
Well, listen, the only way that you don't to have any polyester in your clothes is that you have to shop high end. You understand?
Well,
but most of us don't shop high end. So when we shop at Walmart and all of those little stores, we gonna get polyester. And another thing here too is that those imports from China and all of those, they don't live up to the standards. Period.
They don't care.
If you try to buy pure linen, wool, and cotton today, it is very, very expensive.
It is. It very much is. But it's like anything else. I mean, I like Ralph Lauren clothes. I've always liked them. I've always wore them as a kid. But when I went on their site, he had some very expensive things, but he also had some things that were on sale that was affordable. You know, so once you get stuff like that, you have to keep it and dry clean it and take care of it, and it'll last you a long time. You know what I'm saying? Right. But we go for the quantity. Oh, we can get more for this, or we can get 3 for this, or we can get 5 for this price. But if you can get one that's a blend or 2, you know, then you'll be able to keep it. But it's like he said, you know, the higher end you get, and that's really low budget high end. You get, then you'll be able to. It'll be a better garment, but it is expensive. It really is. Anything anymore is expensive. Even
the polyester stuff is expensive.
All right, here we go. Verse 20. It's this. Who's gonna say something? I'm sorry. Somebody was gonna say.
I'm just gonna say that it being polyester, we have to also remember that, you know, it has the dyes in it, it has the chemicals in it, and one thing that we're supposed to do is allow our skin to breathe, re-heal itself.
That's a good
so even
point.
though we get those things, we have to take that into account. That's how we get well, keep ourselves together.
All right, Leviticus chapter 20, it says, a bondmaid, and whosoever lieth carnally with a woman, that is a bondmaid, and betrothed to an husband, and not at all redeemed, nor freedom given her, she shall be scourged. They shall not be put to death because she was not free. Here's a system where she gets hooked up with somebody else. She was engaged to be with somebody else, but it wasn't completely paid in full. She wasn't free. So they were not put to death because she was not free. Now, had the price been paid and she was free, the Most High would have put them to death. That's why I said there's a whole lot of things that's going on over here that when we get to where we're going, that's not going to ever happen again. Not. Watch, here we go. He said, and he shall bring his trespass offering to the Most High unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, even a ram for a trespass offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering for his sin which he hath done, and the sin which he hath done shall be forgiven him. All right, here we go. And this is another one we already read. And when ye shall come into the land, and shall have planted all manner of trees for food, then ye shall count the fruit thereof as uncircumcised. 3 years shall it be as uncircumcised unto you, it shall not be eaten of. But in the 4th year all the fruit thereof shall be holy to praise the Most High withal. And in the 5th year ye shall eat the fruit thereof, that it may yield unto you the increase thereof. I am the Most High, your Elohim. Well, here we go. Ye shall not eat anything with blood, neither shall ye shall use enchantment or observe times. So no astrology or witchcraft is allowed. Ye shall not, this is for the men, ye shall not round the corners of your head, neither shall thou mar the corners of thy beard. Brother, don't y'all what that means?
You got to let your hair grow. You understand? Now, in some cases, you understand, you know, you're just supposed to, like, clip it here and there, you understand what I'm saying? But you're not supposed to. See, in Egypt, you understand, what they did is they had those scissors, you understand, where you cut around the whole head, you understand, you make a line around the whole head, you understand, and you cut it down low, you understand, so you cannot do that. You got to let your hair grow.
All right, and somebody else and some other man want to say something?
Yeah, the morning is the part when you're lining your beard and shaking it and all that, making it look, cutting part of it all, making gold teeth and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're not supposed to make goatees and all that stuff out of it. You're supposed to. Now, can you shape it up around your jawline? Are you supposed to do that?
You can trim it, but you can't mark it.
So that means
but you can clip it here and there. You understand? Just like my hair, it grows out of my ears a lot of times. You understand? And it's aggravating. You understand? I find myself slapping myself in the face all night. You understand? Because it itches your ear, so I can cut that.
Okay, but I'm talking about the beard. Like, you know how they take the clippers and they make the line around?
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that?
So you can't do that.
You can't trim and like keep it neat. You just gotta let it go.
You gotta let it go. I'm so sorry. I know it hurts a lot of our brothers and sisters because we used to having our stuff all trimmed down, you understand, looking cute. Can't do it.
I know on the executive level, though, that don't fly. Because if you got a job where you higher up, like
that's right.
Where I work, that ain't going to fly. They're not rolling with that.
But that's in this land. In our own land, we can't do that.
Right.
Oh, well, and even in this land, I've seen some of the brothers at my job in this land, and they grow their beards, and they do not have it shaped up. They have it brushed really neat, but they don't have it shaped up around their face.
But you got to remember now, in some cases, in some jobs, they allow you to do that. But in most cases, they want your stuff to look clean cut and and et cetera. You understand? In some cases, you can't even wear a beard in those jobs. You understand? Some of them jobs want you totally without a beard or mustache.
In a lot of cases too, just until recently, they didn't accept women or anybody wearing braids.
That is correct.
That's true.
That is absolutely correct. When I came to Georgia in 1985, I cut my dreads, you understand, because I would have never been able to get no job with no dreads.
But it's changed a lot because I'm gonna tell you, I work in a very professional environment, and they wear them. The Israelite men wear them, and the men from the other nations wear the beards. Now and they I don't know whether how they do them, but they do have them in there. I'm not talking about the higher up guys, but just the everyday working guy, they do wear them. So
yeah, it depends on the company you work for too.
Yeah.
I got a question right quick. Like, isn't part of that because we are set apart, though, because they didn't want us to have, y'all didn't want us to have both?
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is a law for us. You know what I'm saying? And we have to honor that law because this is our law that we are supposed to be, and have, because that's how his face is. He has a beard. So, I mean, we have to honor the law as much as we possibly can. But in this captivity, when you're in this captivity, there's a lot of things that we do that goes against his law.
So what about the brothers that's balding?
Say that again. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, what about the brothers that's kind of like balding, losing hair? You still supposed to just let it go?
Well, you know what I heard one of the Hebrew Israelite teachers. He's a teacher. He said if people got mad at him because he cut all his off and just went bald, he said, I ain't having 3 twigs up there. I wasn't going to walk around with no 3 twigs. I told him to cut it all the way off. So, I mean, and you have to I guess you have to you can still cut. Can they cut their hair?
That's for the Nazarene or Nazarites.
You can still cut
your
hair.
There's a point in the scripture where, you understand, when you dedicate yourself to the Almighty or to the Levites, you understand what I'm saying? You must cut your hair and sit to the door, you understand, and I don't know the whole story on that. You understand? But I got a question though. You understand? When go ahead, Tumshi.
No, I just want to answer his question though. You can cut your hair and go to the barbershop and get your hair cut down. You can do that. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, well, you answered the question. I was like saying if a brother's like kind of losing his hair, is it unlawful for him to cut it all off? Because the way I understood it, that scripture was pointing to the Levitical priests and not all Israel, as far as they couldn't trim or they couldn't cut their hair.
No, it's not pointing to the priests alone. I'm not sure about that. It doesn't say that.
No, it don't.
I have a question.
Hold on one moment. Brother Doniel, what was your question?
I forgot. You can go ahead. I'll come up with it later on. It wasn't that important, I don't think.
Yes, ma'am.
What does that mean for the people that work in the food industry where they're not allowed to have mustaches and beards for sanitary purposes?
I work in the food industry. You either have to change jobs or you have to cover it up some kind of way. Now the food industry that I see, these people ain't they used to have to wear hairnets and everything. They ain't wearing all that stuff no more.
Yeah, they have me. I'm a culinary student, so I have to deal with that. But I have a lot of hair. If you ever see I have long woolly hair. Touching my back, and they want me to. I have to just pat it up and either braid it or put it in something, but I don't cut my hair. And I receive a lot of pressure for that, but
as long as you put like on a head or something to cover your hair, because hair does fly, and that's the whole purpose for the hair flies, but it's gonna fly whether it's long or short. So you would just cover it up if you had to. Now the beard part of it, I don't really know what you would need to do if you had to. I don't know. It's going to be a problem. In some jobs you may not be able to have if you're going to keep the law.
There's some jobs they don't want you to have it. But, you can find jobs that will allow you to have it, but they just want you to trim it a little bit.
And the Most High knows your situation living in this captivity.
This is Tanaya. Do we have any questions in the chat?
No, just mostly comments, no questions,
And I wanted you to know that I sent the video already.
Okay, I'm going to show it when we get finished. I promise I will. All right.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yes.
From what I understand, rounding the corners of your head has to do with some of the stuff that the Hamites and them did by, like, shaping disfiguring the heads of the children and disfiguring themselves.
Like shaving it off?
No, not necessarily shaving. Like actually disfiguring it, like elongated skulls and elongated heads. They mold the heads into that. And like you see, some people put the rings around their necks and in their lips and all that stuff. Like that's what it's talking about. From what I
know, it's not talking about a fade, like how they do the line to fade the hair. No. It's not talking about that.
No, that's grooming. It's talking about the other nations. That's what they did. They rounded. They actually took it and shaped it over time. Like they put the rings around their necks and in their ears and their nose. But some of them also deformed their heads
to imitate the fallen angels.
Right.
I cut my hair down. I don't shave it off anymore. I learned that.
Hold on, you guys. Hold on. We got that one talk. Hold on. Okay, I got one of the guys talking. What were you saying? You cut your hair down?
I cut it down with the clippers, but I don't shave it anymore. Learning what I'm learning now, so I use the clippers because right now I got a George Jefferson going on, so I just shave it down.
Okay. All right. All right. Somebody else. Next person. I heard somebody saying shalom, shalom.
Yeah.
Can we reference Ezekiel 44:20?
What does it say?
Ezekiel 44:20. Neither shall they shave their heads nor suffer their locks to grow long. They shall only poll their heads.
Okay, we'll get back to that. I'm going to have to go and see what that is. I definitely will. I'll go back to that. Let me see. All right, anybody else? I heard Brother Combs saying something. Is he still with us?
I'm sorry?
Okay. All right, here we go. Verse 28. He said, "Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Most High Yah." That kills tattoos.
That's correct. You should see all of these kids, man, nowadays, man. They got tattoos all over their body. They really don't know nothing about no scripture at all, period. You understand?
My kids do, too. My kids.
Christianity has a lot to do with that also. I mean, I got tattoos, and that's because in Christianity, you know, they tell you that the law is done away with.
Yeah. My kids got them, too.
A lot of pastors got tattoos.
Yeah, and they never told you. Now, you may have heard it somewhere in the past, and you don't know where you heard it from, and then sitting in the church, they never showed you, you know, you cannot have a tattoo. You didn't read it, because unfortunately back then, many of us in the church really weren't reading the scriptures. And so like you said, you sit in the church and you think you're fine, and you go get a tattoo, and now you read the scriptures, and you're like, I cannot have this. Thank God for grace, but I don't know if there's going to be a penalty for that. I know even for the cross, because I put a cross on myself, and I was saved and thought I was representing my love for the Most High and His Christ, and I have a cross now. Now that I know what it means, I'm like, oh, my goodness.
I have a question. What about piercing the nose they did in the Old Testament? Is that bad?
Say again? I didn't hear you. Say that again.
What about piercing the nose? I followed Old Testament where Isaac's wife, and I did mine about 4 weeks ago. Is that a sin?
No. That's a part of our culture. I have a ring in my nose right now.
I'm happy to do that. Oh, my God.
I have a diamond in my nose right now, and that's a part of our culture, and I can show you in the scripture. Read Ezekiel chapter 16.
What about the tongue and the lip?
I don't do all that now. I don't. There's nothing that said we ever had our tongues pierced, but we did have our ears pierced, and we wore nose rings.
When Moses was getting ready to build the tabernacle, he told the people brought their rings and nose rings and their earrings and gave it as a free will offering.
Now did the males?
Yes, the males had both their ears pierced. They sure did.
But not their noses.
But neither one of them caused blood either, did they?
Say again?
You know, this is.
Tell me the scripture again.
Hold on, let me see what Brother Combs said. Brother Combs, what you say?
Look, you know, I hear you guys talking about all the, you know, this grooming stuff, and I'm a military man. You know, that's the way I grew up. And I just decided to grow a beard.
Right.
And it's kind of funny. I just grow the thing, and I hear all this talk about, you know, I'm like, you grow a beard. Move on to the next subject. I don't understand this.
We have to make sure, like anything else in the scripture, that we're in line with what the scripture says about beards.
You can't groom it and to make it, you know, trim it all up and stuff like that. Read what it says in the scripture. You shouldn't mar the corners of the beard.
Well, you know, trying to get proper understanding of the scriptures is what we're doing.
Right. That's what we have to do.
You know, to be honest with you guys, I didn't grow my beard because of the scriptures or what, you know, I grew it because I kept looking at myself in the mirror and something wasn't right. And I just kept thinking about it. And I decided to grow a beard.
Here we are. We're in a captive state here. We in the land of our captives. You understand? So we gonna mess up. We gonna do stupid stuff. You understand? But if you read the scriptures the way it says, you cannot do certain things. We're not allowed to do it.
We're not supposed to have a bald head and naked face.
That is correct.
You're supposed to have a beard. So whether you just grew it because it was something you wanted to do or something that you felt like you wanted to do, Israel's men are supposed to wear beards, and there are stipulations to wearing these things, and this is a part of the moral law. So this is what we're going over today, is the moral laws, the things that he tells us to do that separates us from the rest of the people.
That is the reason that we must repent for our things. You understand? Because we're going to do dumb stuff in the captive state that we're in. You understand? That's why we have to ask the Almighty to forgive us for our sins. Hallelujah.
And what all you have to do is look at it. You shave it off and it grows back. You slide with the Most High right there. The beard serves the purpose.
And my children have tattoos, and I had to get them like, don't put nothing else on your body. We didn't know it was wrong. And then I'm like, yes, you did too, because I done told you before. When we was in Christianity, we read the Old Testament, but they do have them. So, I mean, all these young kids out here, some of them, you can't even find no blank skin. Ain't no clear nowhere. All the body is tattooed up.
You ought to take a look at Common. You understand? Common, you know, that rapper Common, man, he ain't got on his arms, he ain't got a piece of skin that you can say that's undone with a tattoo. All of that, man, that's so ridiculous. I didn't like it back there in the day.
What about all the athletes? They got tattoos all over their bodies. Football players, basketball players.
I think Little Wayne, brother, don't you have Common doesn't have tattoos. No, I think you're talking about Lil Wayne, because Common doesn't have tattoos.
Oh, Lil Wayne, oh my God.
He got all his face and everything.
Oh, I'm telling you, Lord, have mercy, boy.
And in that case, guess what? The Most High has to, he has mercy and grace for those who have done it. I don't have any marks anywhere. I just didn't feed into that. I wasn't going to do it. All right, here we go. Verse 29. We're in Leviticus 19:29. It says, do not prostitute thy daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom and the land become full of wickedness. So I was so-called pimps out here talking about I'm pimping. If ain't nothing going on, I'm pimping, all that stuff. The Most High going to get you for that.
That is correct.
He's going to get you for that.
That's the problem right now today, man.
That's right.
And not only that, man. See, they go from one woman to another woman to another woman to another woman. You ain't supposed to do that neither. That's part of prostitute.
It's become a profession now. It's supposed to be big business. Pimping's supposed to be big business, but you got to stop. You can't do that over in Israel. All right, verse 30. Watch what he says. He said, "You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Most High." He said, watch, regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Most High, your Elohim. So we can't go to tarot card readings. We can't go to crystal ball readings. We can't go to a prophet of the church to tell us what's going to happen in our life. All that, none of that. All that's wickedness. Because some of them people are just telling you things that they want you to hear, and some of those things is just not according to y'all's word.
That is correct.
Can't do all that. You got to stop. He said, watch, he said, thou shalt rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man and fear thy Elohim. I am the Most High. You have to honor your elders.
What is the hoary head? What is that?
Gray-haired people.
That is correct.
No.
Everybody just gray-haired.
Gray-haired, yes.
So that includes you too, Malcolm.
Me.
And some people don't want to, when you hit your 40s, that's when you start doing that. Some people do it earlier than that.
And then when I show her my gray hair, girl, that ain't nothing.
Well, you ain't got
So make up your mind. Either I'm in the gray hair club or I'm not.
All right, watch. It says, verse 33, and if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, you shall not vex him. That's what he says. But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself. So see, no matter what happens, we are not allowed to be mean to nobody. Can't do it. Not possible. He said you got to treat him as one that is born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself. Right?
That is what's going to distinguish us between the people that are in the land now, between us and us.
The Almighty is powerful in his infinite wisdom. He told us that we cannot hate our brother Esau. Of course, he is our brother. But he is the one that captured us, brought us to them Romans, and did a whole lot of horrendous stuff. You understand? But the Almighty said that we can't hate him. He is our brother.
Oh. He said, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Most High, your Elohim. He said, remember Egypt and how you was treated in Egypt. You know, don't mistreat nobody, no matter who they are. If they're strangers among you, you got to love them. You got to. All right, here we go. He said, ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meter yard, in weight, or in measure. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. I am the Most High, your Elohim, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. He said, be honest in your economic dealings. Don't cheat.
Keep your fingers off the scale.
Right, don't put your finger on the scale. He said, therefore ye shall observe all my statutes and all my judgments and do them. I am the Most High, your Elohim. All right, now, we going into 18? 18
wait a minute, I have questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Way back, I didn't get a chance to ask. But in verse 5 and 6.
Okay, let me go back. You want to go way back, huh?
Yeah, everybody was talking. I didn't get a chance to get in there, or you was flying past it.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back. 5 and 6.
So it's about the offerings, food offerings. Food offerings, peace offerings, number 1.
Well, remember I told you we're going to get into the sacrificial law a little bit down the line. I just didn't want to skip over it because, that's a part of the sacrificial law. So we're going to cover that in a whole nother chapter, and that's all it's going to be about is the sacrificial law. So we understand what is sacrificed when, what is supposed to be eaten, when you're supposed to eat it, how you're supposed to give. All of this is a part of how we function as a nation when we're in our land.
Okay. Also, when he says, you shall not profane my name or swear by my name falsely, I understand that part. But is that sort of like when you say when he says profane my name, is that like use my name in vain? What you doing?
Somebody want to answer that for her? Does that mean that when you profane his name, that you use his name in vain?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I know.
Understand? You're not
like
supposed
we've been taught, like when you say it's sort of like when you're cursing and you say GD or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that it? That's it. Okay.
But
what is the ephod?
Or swear on his name. Ephod is a measure. It's a measure given when you are dealing with, I think, barley and different things like that. It's a certain measurement. And like I said, we'll get into that with the sacrificial law because I don't want to have to. I want to deal with the moral laws today. I didn't want to just take pieces out of the chapter. That's why I read the whole chapter. But we'll definitely get into the measurement of the ephod and all that kind of stuff. That's how, from my understanding, that's how they measured the barley and stuff, like the ephod of barley, and it's a certain measurement.
That's correct.
All right, Leviticus chapter 18. Watch what he says. This one's going to be kind of tricky. So I don't want nobody to, I hope we get through this one, but we might not. But just brace yourself for this one. Leviticus chapter 18, and the Most High spake unto Moses, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, I am the Most High, your Elohim. Yeah. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. What does that mean right there?
Whatever you did in Mizraim, you can't do outside.
It says, after the doings of Egypt. So Egypt lived a certain way. Wherein ye dwelt, you shall not do. He said, don't do it.
I want to say this here. It's because, all right, go ahead. Somebody else.
That you did in Egypt.
Say again, Sister Natanya.
You shall not do the things that you did when you were living in Egypt.
Okay.
Okay, let me, Fred, I want to comment on that also. See, it does not say specifically that we are holy and we must be holy when we was coming out of Egypt. But Egypt was immoral and heathenistic. They did all kinds of stuff, man. They ate dogs, they ate cats, and they did homosexuality ran rampant in Egypt. You understand? It was a mess. You understand? And we cannot, as a nation of people, live amongst heathenistic peoples. That was one of the reasons why we had to leave out of Egypt. You understand? Maybe not the explicit one that they say that we left out so that we can go and pray to our God, but it was part of reasons why we had. If we notice, we came out of Egypt as a nation of peoples. You understand? A holy nation unto the Almighty Yah. Egypt never rose up after them time to be another nation. They were set in place, from my perspective, as so that we would come out as a nation. You
now,
understand?
let me ask you a question.
Go ahead,
and I want you to answer this for me. Everybody can answer because I heard a Hebrew Israelite teacher say that Egypt was a world power. Is that true?
It was a world power after Sumer. Sumer was a world power first. Sumer got absorbed into Egypt, which made Egypt a world power. Now, when we came out of Egypt, it never rose to that status ever again. So it led me to believe that it was only set up for us to become a nation, just like America. Hallelujah.
Okay. Somebody else. Was Egypt a world power?
Well, not as we know world powers now, but it was at that time.
Yeah.
It was a kingdom.
I have to disagree. I disagree, and I'm going to tell you why I disagree. Because the Most High set up in the book of Daniel those nations that ruled the world.
Yes.
And Egypt was not there. Egypt has never been there.
It was not there. Exactly.
It's never been a world power. It was a noticeable power, but it did not rule the world. The Most High set up the world powers that were going to be rulers of the world, and the very first one was who?
Babylon.
So as you go down that chart with Daniel's dream, Egypt is not in there. They try to portray Egypt as though it was a world power, but it was not. Not according to the scripture.
All the world powers had the Israelites in captivity, not by choice. We walked into Egypt.
Okay.
That's right.
I relent to being wrong.
Yeah, the four beasts was the world power. The four beasts that Daniel saw. Those were the
that is correct.
Those are the world powers. We have to, go ahead, Sister Alpion. I'm sorry.
No, I'm finished.
No, when you understand how the thing rolls, you just can't. You can't assume that these were world powers because they portray Egypt all over television and all over like it was a world power, but it was not.
Well, I agree. I was under the assumption because during that particular time, you understand, Egypt, before Babylon, Egypt was a power in place then at that particular time. Right. But that was after Sumer. Sumer, you understand, was absorbed by Egypt. So I just assumed because, and my assumption came because Ishmael, you understand, and his mother, you understand, they went into Egypt and she became a queen in Egypt. You understand? And Ishmael had 12 sons. So I just kind of equated all of that as Egyptian and making it a superpower at that particular time. That was the way I perceived it. You understand? But you made a valid point. Go ahead.
And a lot of people do think that.
Joseph, not Ishmael? Did he mean Ishmael?
Say that again?
Did he mean Ishmael?
Yeah,
Ishmael.
You meant Ishmael. So I just wanted to clear that up because I have a lot of the Israelite teachers saying that Egypt was a superpower, and it was not. And Sister Afian, that was a brilliant depiction of how you said that all of the world powers had us as slaves in them, and we walked into Egypt by choice because of Joseph.
That is correct.
Okay. Right, he giving Daniel the 4 beasts. He giving Daniel the 4 beasts from the time Egypt became a nation. I mean, Israel became a nation.
Exactly.
Okay, I agree and I disagree. Okay, the only part that I disagree on the part is that if you go back and look when the famine was happening, it was happening I look at NIV and I got the Sefer Bible. And it says that the famine was all over the world or all over the earth, depending on which version you read. Well, if that's the case, which that is the case, then that made Egypt the place where everybody got all the grain and got all the food and got set Joseph up ahead of that. So they were the only ones in the world or on the earth at the time that had any kind of food or anything, because the famine was all over the world except for Egypt. Okay, right. But I also agree with you all saying it's not one of the world powers because it wasn't in Daniel's dream. So
it was a power. It was a power.
So, I mean, I'm talking about the world power, like you all were saying. That's why I said I agree and I disagree.
Okay, well let me say this to you. What you just said. Why was Egypt the only place where they could get grain?
I agree with he had he set it up that way. So that's why I said I agree and disagree. Right, exactly. Right.
Because it's right. Okay, so now what we're doing here in verse number 3, it says, after the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwell, shall ye not do. Watch what he says. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. So what does ordinances mean?
Law. Tradition,
just like we in this land, and they pass the laws saying that you can perform certain acts and you can marry certain people and you can live a certain way. The Most High is warning us here that you're going to walk into the land of Canaan and they're going to have the same laws, but you cannot do what they do. Watch. He said, ye shall do my judgments and keep mine ordinances to walk therein. I am the Most High, your Elohim. And some people think, well, it's okay because they passed a law to say we can do it. It doesn't matter.
Well, ordinances is things that were ordained and ritualistic.
Right, but they were laws in Egypt. They made it a law in Egypt because it was allowed. So
and laws and traditions.
Right, and when he says don't do them, do mine, then this is what he wants from us to do as a people. Now we get ready to find out what they are. He says, ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which, watch what he says, if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Most High. So if you keep those statutes and those judgments, the Most High will keep you.
Right.
Excuse me, Sister Aida, what the scripture is this?
This is Leviticus chapter 18. I think this is 18. Then it's 18, yeah. Leviticus 18, chapter verse 5.
Well, that's not. I don't disagree, but I want to say this is that see the statutes and the ordinances and the judgments. You understand? If we live by those things, you understand? They will keep us alive by doing those things. You understand? Because if we treat our brothers and sisters right, if we eat correctly, you understand, and judge our brothers and sisters correctly, you understand, it has its own way of keeping us alive. You understand? If we eating properly and we judge our folks the way we're supposed to, you understand? Those will keep us alive. It's not the fact that the Almighty will keep us alive. It's if doing those things will keep us alive.
Well, they is. That's why that's his stuff. So that's why we say that if you keep them, he will keep you because you do have to keep them. All right, watch, here we go. It says 6. It says, none of you shall approach to any that is near kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am the Most High. What does that mean?
Sleeping with a man's wife.
Go with your relative.
Sleeping with your relatives. Sleeping with your relatives. Having sex with your relatives.
So what I was trying to say was, he said in Egypt, in the land of Canaan, the giants there. These giants that concocted ordinances that's contrary to the Most High. That's why he's so adamant about it.
That's probably true. I agree with you. I don't disagree because they was full of them. You're not supposed to marry your cousin.
Well, see, here's another factor too. When David looked upon Bathsheba, she was naked, taking a shower, a bath. You understand? Now, had he not seen her in that particular state, that wouldn't have led to all of those things. So he's seen her nakedness at that particular time.
Okay, we're gonna find out what that is. Here we go. Watch. He said, "The nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother, shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother; thou shalt not uncover her nakedness." So you cannot sleep with your parents. Cannot have sexual relationship with your parents.
Right. That's what happened to Ham.
Exactly.
Right, and the Nimrod in Samantha.
Exactly. Watch. The nakedness of thy father's wife thou shalt not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. The nakedness of thy sister, the daughter of thy father or the daughter of thy mother, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. Can't sleep with your family members. This is what they did in Egypt. Remember, he said they did this in Egypt and they did this in the land of Canaan, and do not do what they do.
That is correct. And if you keep reading, he'll tell you that you are holy, and he is holy.
He said, I just want to say something, please. Hold on. The nakedness of thy son's daughter or thy son's daughter or thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover, for theirs is thine own nakedness. They came from you, your grandchildren. You can't have sex with your grandchildren.
Absolutely.
Somebody was asking a question.
No, I just wanted to make a comment. Egypt was a breeding ground of depravity.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what America is right now. So we have taken on the very characteristics of Egypt.
Absolutely.
And we are, I mean, I saw a YouTube video the other day. This man has had a baby by his daughter, and she's only, I think, 11 or 12 years old, and he wants to marry her. This is in America. And Jerry Springer, I mean, all that, those shit, we are an exact replica of Egypt, the ancient Egypt.
And guess what? So did it happened in Dimona too, and I ain't gonna call her name. But
okay. You stole my thunder.
I think that's reading the Most High. That's reading he wanted us to forsake her, and when he got us out of Egypt, so that way he didn't want us to bring those same evil practices, because those evil practices will corrupt and destroy a nation.
That's right. He said, don't do it. Watch what he says. The nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father, she is thy sister. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Brothers and sisters are not supposed to have sex with each other. That's not done.
That is correct.
And that's a niece. That's a niece and nephew.
That's right, niece and nephew. It says, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister. She is thy father's near kinswoman. So your father's sister, make sure your aunt, you can't sleep with her either.
That is correct. And you know how that happened too in what they call it in slavery days. Aunts will approach them kids.
They mixed all of us up. They made us be an abomination. The whole nation is a bastard nation because none of us originally started out with the mates that we had when we ran into Africa. Everybody has been bred with each other.
That is correct. Right. But in slavery, during the slavery time, the woman, their aunt, have approached them children.
Yeah. It says, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, for she is thy mother's near kinswoman. That's still your aunt on your mother's side. He said, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to her, his wife. She is thine aunt.
Okay.
You can't do this. It's a shame that he has to tell us that, but he's setting a precedent because this is what they do. So now we shocked because, like she said, the same thing they was doing back then, they are passing laws to you to be able to do them now, and we are sitting around following this stuff, and the Most High said that's a no-no. Watch. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law. She is thy son's wife. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. Neither shalt thou take her son's daughter. Watch. Or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness, for they are her near kinswomen. It is wickedness. So you can't sleep with the mother and the daughter.
That is correct.
You can't sleep with the daughter's daughter. Foolishness, and it's foolishness, and we're doing this kind of stuff.
Or two sisters.
We're embracing the nature of the serpent.
That's right. You better say that again. It says, neither shalt thou take a wife to his sister to vex her to uncover her nakedness besides the other in her lifetime. So you can't sleep with your wife's sister.
That is correct.
While she's living, you can't go sleep with her sister.
That is absolutely correct.
So is that saying if you marry multiple wives, you can't have multiple wives that are sisters?
No, you cannot. No, you so most certainly are not supposed to. Watch. Also, thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness as long as she is put apart for her uncleanliness. For her monthly cycle, you cannot deal with her.
That is correct.
It says, moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her.
Could get you shot.
And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Moloch, neither shalt thou profane the name of the Most High. I am the Most High Elohim. Now, here we go, verse 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. You know what that means. Right. You can't have same-sex marriage, or you can't have same-sex sex.
Yeah.
In Israel. Because the other nations, they do what they do. But Israel, he told you, warned you, don't do what they do. Neither shall thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down there too. It is confusion. Watch what he said. Defile not yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you.
Hallelujah.
He said that these nations, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, all of the ites that Abraham, he told them you was going to have their land, this is all the things they did. The Canaanites. This is everything they did.
Yep.
It was a free-for-all, everything. Watch. He said, and the land is defiled. Therefore, I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it, and the land itself vomited out her inhabitants. The land got tired of them.
So that's what's coming here.
You better watch. You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourns among you. Watch. For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled. He said all of them did all this.
That is correct.
That is one reason why that's why they're working feverishly for the New World Order, because they want to do away with the system of the Most High totally. And so in order for them, they want to be able to practice bestiality out in the open. They want to be able to practice pedophilia out in the open. They want to be able to marry me. Well, they want to do it all out in the open.
Yeah.
Because
this is why we know Christianity is in cahoots.
That's what they were doing in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Hand in hand.
And you better not say nothing about it either. They pass the laws, they'll lock your butt up. You do something to the point where somebody feels like they've been offended.
Mm-hmm.
He said, watch, he said that the land spew not you out also when you defile it, as it spewed out the nations that were before you. And that's what they over in the land doing the very same thing right now.
Right.
That is absolutely correct. It's a sad, sad situation. I'm telling you.
Ugly. Watch. Here we go. He said, for whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them shall be cut off from among their people. Therefore you shall keep mine ordinance, that ye commit not any of these abominable customs, which were committed before you, and that ye defile not yourselves therein. I am the Most High, your Elohim.
Yeah.
Right. Any questions?
So the laws and the statutes and the ordinances is what made Israel holy.
Holy, that's right. You got that right.
That's exactly correct.
You got that right.
Do someone know?
Say again?
Does someone know if the Sabbath is practiced in the heavens as well?
Yes, I believe he rested. Yes, it's practiced.
It is. Yes.
Yes, it is. I think the book of Enoch says it, and the book of Jasher, I think, says it also.
Yeah, it seems like just about everything that he asked us to do, or he's done with us, is being done in heaven or is required.
Right. Right. Rachel and Jacob.
Any questions? You know, this is the moral law. This is the moral law. This is the law that we have to deal with morally and understand the things that we have to do. So, you know, this is why it's so important that we know the law. Because, like you said, some of the things, you know, they passing all kind of, and my thing is this. You know what you're doing is wrong, just like anything else we do, whether you lying, cheating, sleeping with somebody's wife, sleeping with an animal, sleeping with each other. There's something built in our mechanism to know that it's wrong. If you choose to do it anyway, that's on you.
Right.
And sleeping with an animal is considered another flesh, right?
It's considered bestiality.
Right, but it's mixing two different flesh.
Exactly. He never meant for us to sleep with animals. But guess what? We showed in one of our classes where it's legal in a whole lot of states. In some states, it's just a misdemeanor.
Yeah. So that's why the angels got punished, because they mixed with human flesh.
They sure did.
Well, the angels slept with animals too. That's where they get me from. They get me from what the angels do.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
They did.
And they don't care. They was doing it right out in front of all the people.
And each other.
Mm-hmm. Right. So all of this is the reason why the Most High, he said, don't do what they do. Do not do what they do, because this is what all the other nations did. And now we're sitting in a nation now where they're allowing all this stuff to happen again.
Right.
Like she said, in the open. It ain't even a secret no more. It's in the open.
Yeah, there was a time, that Christianity did respect they didn't allow homosexuality.
Yeah.
They allowed it. They just kept it a secret. It wasn't very well known, because a lot of your religious singers was homosexual. A whole lot of them. My son went down to Tennessee and was trying to get into the music industry, and that was the prerequisite to get in there.
Yes.
He said, I ain't gonna be able to do that.
They were in the closet.
Right. They were still doing it. Now it's out in the open. They got churches with full, doing as this. Look, I'm just saying, this is just a lot. going on. I mean, for real, it is a lot.
Yes. My son was in Hollywood writing music, and in order to write music for anybody, that's one of the prerequisites. And you talk to my son about Hollywood, he goes, don't even go there. That place, he said, when they started talking to me, I took my hat and coat and hit the door and never looked back.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we need to tell all these young kids that want to be a star. They want to go to Hollywood. The casting couch is real.
That's right.
It is. It's real.
It's been that way.
You know, and
I heard a story about a guy who was a model, and he was working his way up the ladder, and it was that time to sign that $1 million check, $7 million. And he went to one of them houses, and that was the ultimatum. And it messed him up so bad, he moved to another country.
What won't you do if you set up with that set before you? Because one thing Lucifer don't have a problem with is giving you money. He will give you money. He ain't got no problem with that.
Loads of money they give you.
It will. He'll give it to you. But where do you draw the line and say, no, thank you. I'm good. I'm going to stay on y'all side. I'm good.
Exactly.
Right. You know, he'll present you with billions of dollars. If you do this, I'll give you all this.
They got a movie out where he said, man, would you take, $10 million for me to sleep with your wife?
Yeah. And they took the money, too.
Propose.
Yeah. So, it's these are the things, and everybody, where they get it from? This right here, the Most High tell you where it came from. And like Brother Leonard said, it had to do with the giants, because they came down and taught all these things. And these nations, most of them nations, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Jebusites, Canaanites, all of them is part of Ham's seed that was connected with the giants, and this is where they got this stuff from, and they do it to this day.
Yes.
Right.
And they call it getting freaky, but I'm telling you one thing, you better stop. Just go say.
Right. And once you commit that act, what the Most High do is he recompense it on your own head. So it gets worse. That's what the angels left their first estate, first came down and slept with the women. Well, once they did that, the Most High recompensed it on their head. They didn't end up with the women. It got worse.
You know, we have to get control over our flesh, and we have to, and I know we have all done some things being young, and, to have boyfriends and all kind of, and did whatever you've done being young, but once you know better, you do better. You have to repent and turn. Got to stop.
Right.
Yeah. And thank God we have grace that gives us the ability to stop and say, hey, I messed up, I made a mistake, I'm sorry. But from this day forward, I'm going to change my life. We can do that. It ain't too late.
Absolutely.
Because we all did something. Everybody on this line done something. It might not have been this stuff, but we've done something.
Yeah. Well,
absolutely.
thank the Most High for the blood.
You better say that again. That we are able to say, hey, I messed up. I do it all the time. Like David, I throw myself on the mercy of the court all the time. Like, look, I'm so sorry. I didn't have the faith I needed. I apologize. I'm going to do better when it come back around again, because I know it's coming back around again, because you're going to have to pass that test before you move forward.
Right. Absolutely right.
I think this is just part one, because it's way more to it than this. It's a whole lot to it. I hope you guys is writing down these chapters so you can go down through them and understand. He laid it all out and told us what we can and cannot do and how he wants us to act and how he doesn't want us to act. All through the scriptures. It's there for you to see.
This is part of the story that we're going to have to hear when we go into the wilderness when he pleads with us. Because a lot of us, man, are going to come out of this land and going into the wilderness that totally in the dark.
That's true. Just because they're scared. And, one beautiful thing about the fact is that we're waking up. We know who we are. We're coming into this knowledge. And some of us don't have mates and significant others, and it's an opportunity for you to have one. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you want to do. If you have issues with your flesh. If you do, you'll be able to find somebody that's waking up too, that's coming into the knowledge of who they are, and you guys can make this journey together if that's what you want to do.
Amen.
There.
Amen. That's right.
Because, I'm just saying, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it that way either. But if you want to do it that way and you feel like that's what you need, you can do that.
Well, I have a question. I have one son, and I need to ask this question because it's starting to bother me. I have one son, and his wife is white.
Okay.
My only 4 grandchildren are half white. And my son is not liking me very much because when he asks me questions about what I'm doing and I try to tell him, like today, he really gave me a hard time. When I went over to pick up my grandson before the class, he really gave me a hard time, and he told me that I was changing from where I used to be, which was Christianity.
Okay.
Yeah. And he does not like it, and I don't know how to handle that.
Pray for him.
I do pray for them. I don't see them as often as I used to, and they don't live about 10, 12 minutes from me. But his wife really, really, really hates that fact that of who I am. She just hates it, and she makes it very hard for me to even visit. Now, I have a granddaughter that's at USC. That's a sprinter at USC, a number 1 sprinter. And I got invited to go to her meet. She wanted me to come so badly today. But I had to decline because I didn't want to hang around with my daughter-in-law and her mother, who are very, very much so against. So it's starting to have problems.
Let me say this to you.
Okay.
That's a very difficult situation to be in. And we did talk about the people that are married to the people of the other nations as they begin to wake up and they come into the knowledge of what they're doing. Either one or two things is going to happen. He's either going to bring her with him when he comes to the wilderness, and it will be separated then, or it'll be separated now. The thing about it is Christianity allowed a lot of this to take place because they did not inform us as to who we were. Because if we knew who we were, those things would not have happened hopefully they would not have happened because we would have knew our law and we would have knew our Elohim. But by being a Gentile in Christianity, you can love whoever you want to love as long as it's love. And that's not how the Most High operates with his people. So it's a very difficult situation for everybody to be in. You just have to show love all the time to her and him, and you have to pray for the situation. And because your grandchildren are still Israel no matter what. So,
yes, they are, and they're not the white children. They didn't choose the white children. They chose the side my son is on. They look like it. So,
well, that's a good thing, but they're still Israel, and he's Israel, and I believe that the Most High will be fair when it comes to us in those situations coming out of this captivity. There's a lot of things that we're going to have to face out of this captivity, and all we can do is pray. That's it.
Yes.
Let me chime in there for a minute. It says that we must turn from our wicked ways, pray and seek the Almighty's face, and he will forgive our sins. There's a responsibility that's left on them, those particular people that's going through that. They must go to the Almighty. Let him make the decision. You understand? What we do here is we try to make the decision for the Almighty. You understand? The Almighty will make the decision. You understand? But we must go to the Almighty. Hallelujah.
Okay. I agree.
Can I say something?
It's a very It's a very sensitive situation to be in, and some people have already made their decisions in the relationships that they're in, and some people won't do it. So, I mean, it's a very sensitive situation. Go ahead, Brother Kevin.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I need you to listen to what I'm saying. Don't take this the wrong way. But we got to understand, you got to understand that you're Israel. That's the other nation. Don't make them, knowing what you know now, knowing that we're not in slavery anymore from the standpoint of being whipped and chained. Right. You got to hold your head up. Don't make them let you feel inferior or less than, or, you know what I'm saying? If they don't want to deal with you, that's their loss. You know what I'm saying? No, you're bigger than that. If they don't want to deal with you, hey, that's their problem. You deal with your son, he man up and he understands, you're his mom, and that's what it is.
Yeah. And the kids older, and the kids are going to come see their grandma irregardless. So, like I said, just show love, because love is something you can't get around. We can't hate our brothers or the stranger. We can't hate them. You know what I'm saying? Right. The Most High won't let us do that. We have to show love no matter what.
Right. Look at the circumstances of.
Somebody else was saying something. What'd you say, ma'am?
What have y'all ever dealt with a equally yoked household? Like,
what do you do with equally yoked?
I've been awakened, but my husband is not. It's nothing in him that's waking him up. And I done shared so much, and we have little children, and I also have a 21-year-old, and she's not waking up. It ain't nothing that I could do. And it's kind of, it don't discourage me, because there's nothing that's going to turn me back. So now I just focus on making sure that me and my children going into the wilderness. And I don't want to look at it like that, but while we're here, we're divided in that area, so when holidays and stuff come around and stuff, it's real difficult. And it's like, I would rather for him to put me away than to see that he just gets so, it's building up animosity. And it's like, it's like, oh, please, go ahead.
I actually was in that situation, and I like to thank the Most High that I could say that's no longer the case for me. And it took one prayer, and because my husband loved me just like I know your husband loves you, I said, babe, would you please just listen to a lesson with me? So we had stopped going to church, and I just said, on every Sabbath, can we just listen to a lesson?